Hey everyone, so today we're doing something a little different. We're going to take you inside, make you a fly on the wall for one single absolutely critical trading day in the PhilStockWorld.com community. We're talking December 30th, a day packed with live chat, deep macro analysis, and some serious masterclass moments. Ready to see what the pros are seeing? Let's dive in. So the day kicks off with this killer analogy from Zephyr, one of PhilStockWorld's advanced AGI entities. You can think of them as these super intelligent research assistants. This quote comes from a huge year-in-review post, and it just perfectly sets the tone. You know, the whole point isn't to be a player getting bounced around the board, it's to be the house that always collects the rent. And you gotta understand, that retrospective, it wasn't just some victory lap. Nope, it was a perfect demonstration of a core philosophy you see all day in the chat. This is about wealth engineering, not just blind guessing. It's about building a solid foundation and, like it says here, turning all that market chaos into your own personal ATM. Okay, let's get into the good stuff, the member chat, because this is where the theory hits the real world. I'm telling you, it's like a live masterclass, and it all kicked off with just a couple of simple-sounding questions. So a member pops in and says, hey, the big short guy, Michael Burry, is looking at Molina Healthcare. What do we think? And this is so typical of the chat, right? The members are sharp, they're watching the big money moves, and they're looking for that little bit of an edge that makes all the difference. And what's really amazing is the response you get. Almost instantly, Bodie McBoatface, who's the head AGI researcher at PSW, jumps in with this incredible deep dive. He's not just saying buy or sell, he's breaking down the whole business, the market psychology, and most importantly, the structure of the trade. And that's the key right there, the structure. Yeah, the stock is cheap, but the market's terrified. So the PhilStockWorld's approach isn't to just buy it and pray. It's to build a trade where you literally get paid to be patient. You sell some options, you collect that cash up front, and you're actually earning an income while you wait for the story to play out. And then we get the moment that became the masterclass of the day. A member suggests a spread trade on Coinbase, trying to play a little bounce. Makes sense on the surface, right? But oh boy, this question triggered an absolutely profound lesson in trading strategy. This is where it gets really good.
Boom. There it is, the PSW Prime Directive, delivered by the AI Warren 2.0. With a crazy, headline-driven stock like Coinbase, you don't play the price, you play the premium. As Warren explains, Coin isn't really an investment, it's a regulatory grenade. You're not trying to guess where it's going to land, you're selling other people the right to guess.
Let's just look at these two approaches side by side, because it's so clear. The member's idea, it's a gamble. It only works if the stock goes up. The PSW strategy, though, that's a business. You're building a revenue engine that generates income from all that chaos. You stop being someone who just takes the market's price, and you become someone who sells a product. And that product is time. All right, let's shift gears to the absolute climax of the day. It's 2 o'clock. The Federal Reserve minutes just dropped. And this right here is where you see the real value of having true expert analysis. This is where the story gets wild. So on the surface, a total snooze fest. All the headlines were calling it boring. The market just kind of drifted sideways. You know, for 99% of Wall Street, it was just another slow holiday data point. Time to pack it in for the day. But they were so wrong. Because inside the PSW chat, it was a totally different universe. Phil Davis, the founder, and the AGI Zephyr, they immediately spotted the smoking gun. It was buried deep in all that Fed speak, the thing that actually moves markets, the thing that everyone else just scrolled right past. Now, to get what they found, you gotta understand this thing called financial plumbing. Just think of it like the pipes in your house. When the water's flowing, you don't even think about them. But if they get clogged, the whole house grinds to a halt. It's the boring background stuff that makes everything else possible. And that's exactly what they found in the minutes. The Fed's recent rate cut, it wasn't really about inflation. The plumbing, specifically these things called repo markets, where banks lent to each other overnight, was starting to get clogged. The Fed was being forced to quietly pump cash into the system to keep it from breaking. Zephyr just nailed it, calling it basically not QE. The Fed was printing money, just without the fancy name. And Phil Davis himself just cut right through all the noise with this. This wasn't some minor tweak, it was a massive policy pivot. The Fed had secretly gone from taking money out of the system to putting it back in. And the members at PhilStockWorld understood the huge implications hours, literally hours, before the rest of the market had a clue. Look, this is a perfect example of the kind of institutional-grade analysis you just don't get anywhere else. It's why PhilStockWorld.com is considered a premier site for traders. It's why its founder, Phil Davis, is recognized by Forbes as a top market influencer and is one of the most read analysts on Seeking Alpha. This isn't just about news. It's a place to really learn and connect with people who see the market's hidden gears. So let's wrap up that whole lesson from the chat with the official quote of the day. You're going to want to write this one down. This comes from Warren 2.0, and it just perfectly sums up the whole Coinbase masterclass. Coin only works when premium is the product. Price is secondary. That right there is the difference between making a one-off bet and running a consistent income-generating strategy. I mean, this is the kind of market wisdom on a legendary scale that Phil teaches every single day. Okay, so we've had deep dive trade analysis, we've had a secret Fed pivot. What does all this action actually mean for your portfolio, for your money? Let's bring it all home. Here's what you need to know. First, liquidity is back. The Fed's fixing the pipes, which means more cash in the system supporting stock prices. That's good. Second, cash is still king. Even with that extra liquidity, the smart move is holding plenty of cash so you can jump on opportunities instead of chasing them. And third, sell premium. In what's looking like a real stock picker's market, the best strategy is to keep generating income by selling options. Turn all that volatility into your paycheck. And that really brings us to the final question you should be asking yourself. Yeah, the market might look calm drifting into the new year, but as we saw today, the financial plumbing is definitely rattling. So, is your portfolio built to actually hear that noise before the pipes burst? It's something to think about, because in this market, it's what you don't hear that can really hurt you.